Back to the presidential election, the PDP and the Labour Party have gone to court to challenge the result. How do you feel about this?
I think that that's one of the beauties of democracy. President Muhammadu Buhari, who is serving 8 years in Nigeria today, lost election in 2003 and went to court and saw it up to the Supreme Court. He went again in 2007 and saw it up to the Supreme Court, and went again in 2011 and saw it up to the Supreme Court, after which he then cried and said he was not going to go into politics again. But God showed faith on him, and he had a chance to rule Nigeria again for another 8 years after being head of state in 1983, thereabout. So going to court is a natural thing in politics or in election. It's not out of place, It's what we've done. Even, in Ekiti State, Governor Fayemi at the time we had to go to tribunal. Because even in Osun State right now, we've also had to go to court, because, we believe that we have the mandate of the people of Osun. So I think it's welcomed. It's within their right to. The outcome of that is what I cannot guarantee, because I know that the people of Nigeria are excited about our Asiwaju presidency. But it's within their right to go to court, to exhaust every legal means to what, they believe is their mandate. But it's interesting how two parties believe that they won the election. Which of them really is. And so like somebody said, so one of them has to decide, that one of them, what they're competing for is actually who came second. Because I know that APC won that election.
All right. I know you tried to talk about it earlier, but now let's have a robust conversation about it. The president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has promised to work with the youths in his administration. As the APC youth leader, what does this hold for Nigerian youths?
So part of the conversation that we would begin to have with our president-elect, who has also won the ticket on the platform of our party, is to begin to see how, for example, we can begin to what the priorities for young people are. So we have the APC manifesto, which also gave that to the candidate manifesto, and now the president-elect manifesto. And so as young people of the party, we want to begin to push the interests of young people with the president-elect. So, for example, we're going to start conversations around even youth participation. And that youth participation is going to be reflected in, how much young people are being carried along, even in the process leading to inauguration. We're also going to be engaging, for example, on how young people are going to be carried along in the administration. The women have always fought for 35%. We young people are also asking for our own affirmative action.
Of how many percent?
Where I'll keep that internally for now, okay. Because it's also at a early stage of a conversation around that. We've had those conversations before here, and we've been promised that young people will be carried along. And so we're also going to be having conversations around how young people will be carried along, not just even in cabinet, but in public appointments in boards and parastatals and agencies, competent young people who have the capacity to play those roles. And we also have a lot of them in our party, by the way, to the glory of God. So, we're going to also be looking at those conversations. We're also going to be looking at, how for example, the youth wing of the party, or of course the party would also be looking at how we're going to engage in implementing policies that have been promised to Nigerians. I think what is key for us, in particular as the youth wing of the party, is to ensure that, because we've staked our haul in this election, we've put our necks out and we've stood by our party and our candidate in this election. And so I think the priority for us is in delivering the promise to young Nigerians. We want to be able to work with the president-elect and, of course, when he becomes president, to ensure that within 6 months even, the young Nigerians who were, unhappy during our campaign, who wanted everybody to support their own candidate, would see genuine reasons and would see why we made our choice in Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and would join us to say this is the right direction. And and that's what we're doing as the youth wing of the party. We're listening to our generation. We were saying to them, I wrote a release after the presidency to say we all want the same destination. Our pathway may be different. So we all want a great Nigeria. We want a greater Nigeria. We just have different pathways. You want your own party and your candidate. We believe that the fastest way to get there is a man who already has experience, who has capacity, and who has, the ability to bring people together. Because you can't run a one-man show in leadership. You need a team. You need people. And one person that has a capacity to magnetize people and to, identify skills and talent, for a good assignment. I call him a project manager. is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I think the importance for us is we want to be able to, work with him to ensure that, his policies for job creation, for exploring opportunities in the agribusiness sector, and also in the creative industry, and in particular, in the digital economy. We want to ensure that we also, work with him to leverage on that. Because the digital economy is very important. People are doing e-commerce, they're doing e-marketing, they're doing business. We know that Asiwaju is not a president who will entertain police brutality on young people because they have a laptop. That will not happen under a Bola Tinubu administration by the grace of the Almighty. He understands the power of digital and information technology. We've seen that in, what's happening even in Lagos here. We have, for example, innovation centers in Lagos. There's a lot of investment and support to the tech industry. We believe that that will grow under Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's always been so in addition to being a progressive who believes in also welfare state, is also a upwardly forward-thinking person who, like I said, exposed. He's lived abroad, so that comes with his own benefit of international exposure. He's done a lot of PPPs because of that exposure when he came back to Nigeria even today. So people have learned from that. So we believe that we begin to look at how do we even leverage a lot on the digital economy? How do we help startups to be able to grow, innovators? How do we build more accelerators and incubators across the country? How do we ensure that we can create more jobs, not just in the public sector, but in the private sector, creating an enabling environment for young people who have vision and ideas to be able to receive funding for their vision and ideas and turn that into reality, and thus creating jobs themselves, becoming employer of labor. That is going to be a priority in this coming administration, and that's what we in the youth wing of the party is going to be working with our candidate to achieve. Because for us, we hear the cries of our young Nigerians. The concern is we want Nigeria to be more open. We want to feel the same experience that people in Canada, Toronto, Canada, in Ontario, in London, in New York. You want that experience. It's been, about 22 years, coming out of the military regime, I believe, 22 years. And so we want another accelerated progress. And I believe that's what Asiwaju is going to offer us.
All right. This is Nigeria's, let's get back to talking about the general elections. This is Nigeria's 7th consecutive general election since its return to democracy. The February 25 election witnessed great participation by the youth. You also talked about that. Will you say that they are beginning to show greater interest in governance in the country?
Plato says that if you refuse to join politics or to get involved in politics, you're going to be ruled by your inferiors. And so, as young Nigerians, we watch what happens all over the world. We see things happen on movies, in entertainment, we see things happening online. We see how people live in America. People go on holiday in Dubai and they come back and they see, how things are done in different climes. And so it's natural for them to be hungry. It's natural for them to be hungry for a Nigeria that you're proud of. I see people coming during this election from the US, from the UK, from Canada. They've come in because they're passionate about the Nigeria they want. Many of them want to come back home. They just want that home to be habitable for them to be able to come back to. They want to reverse the Japa syndrome. And so it's natural for them to say, you know what, I want to see a Nigeria where I can be more comfortable, where I'm not abused, where I'm not challenged, where I'm not undermined, and where I can grow my business and get all the support. But what we're saying is with Asiwaju presidency, Asiwaju already was also one of you. He lived in the diaspora and came back home. He saw what happened with the trains in Chicago, where he was living and all of that, and then had a dream to bring similar ideas. And that's why we have the red line and the blue line and the green line that are coming up in Lagos, in Tramodal transport system in the city of Lagos. Eco Atlantic, for example, is seeing how, for example, Dubai was able to reclaim and turn things around and move from, what's that thing called? A desert, 30 years ago, and to now being a world capital. So, and this is what young people are seeing as well. They don't want to go to Dubai. They don't want to go to America or go by boats to Turkey and Libya and all of that. They want a Nigeria that works. And I'm saying that by the grace of the Almighty, Asiwaju understands that, and is ready to come and provide the leadership. He would be working with us, ensuring that he puts together a good team that can deliver and take Nigeria to the path of greatness. That is what we all desire. That is what I desire. And that's what the young people do. So it's that aspiration that is making them very energetic about getting involved politically.
All right, still taking a cue from the presidential election. Interestingly, I've spoken to older politicians on this program who would continue to say social media does not vote. And when I ask them why they continue to undermine the power of the new voters, especially the young people, they say social media does not vote. A lesson from the presidential election, does this narrative still stand?
Anybody who says social media doesn't affect election, I think that last week, Saturday, or the presidential election has shown you that it's totally, there's power in every form of media. But what social media has done is to put that information in the palms of your hand. Today when people say breaking news, it's so funny because breaking news used to be, like something just happened back in the days.
Yeah.
But every small thing today is breaking news. And so many times they're not even breaking at all. There's nothing to break. The reality is that everybody now is a broadcaster. Everybody is a journalist. And everybody, you go to the remotest of village, they have a form of data. The influence of Twitter is unimaginable. And that's one of the concerns and cries that young Nigerians have. Part of the fears they have is that we hope that Twitter will not be banned. And I believe that this is not a direction that the National presidency will want to embrace. Young people want to be able to express themselves. They communicate effectively. Of course, social media has been abused. Social media, if you look at, some certain young Nigerians today, on social media, they take the liberty of being faceless to call you names, to insult you, to do anything, to attack you. That is the wrong use of social media. But the social media, properly used in the right way, is a very strong tool for civic engagement, is a very strong tool for even inspiration, for providing leadership, and for communicating and connecting. The social media is a major actor. As a matter of fact, in this last election, the social media played a key role in even how, candidates were being perceived, in how, in public relations, in branding, in marketing. The social media is a key tool that we must never undermine. And any government who refuses to engage at the level of the social media is setting itself up for failure.
All right, I get your analysis, but I need to correct a notion that anyone has a phone, has a page on any social media does not make them...
but that's what they...
Yes. Does not make him or her a broadcaster.
Yes.
All right, that's taken. Now, some youths won elections into the National Assembly. How will you describe the outcome in terms of youth representation?
So we've got a good numbers. And, I would also praise our party for many of those who came from our party, because one of the first things that I did when I got elected as national leader of the party was to go to the NWC and go and fight for 50% discount on nomination forms for everybody under the age of 40, which we consider youth by our party constitution. And so, that enabled a lot of young people to buy form and contest in the election. In the first time in the history of our party, I was able to secure 50% nomination. But talking about that generally, I think other parties also adopted similar initiatives and strategies, and we're able to have more young people because the future is now. And, we need to begin to get involved in decision-making on issues that affect us, in particular at the level of the House of Representatives. It's the house full of energy, the younger generation. And so it's interesting that we have, good number of young people who are going into the House. And I look forward to having them impact, the country with their ideas, with their skills, with their energy that we possess as young people. They're going to bring in breath of fresh air into the system. And the good thing about young people is that we're very energetic, we're very boisterous. And, but that comes with a lot of, if channeled appropriately, comes with a lot of benefit.
Well, I see that you have a huge task ahead of you. And as the national leader of the APC, the ruling party, what more do you think the youth need to do to take leadership of this country?
I think we also need to understand the power of service and the importance of service. The Yoruba has a proverb that says, Ojo tabagun kola manga. And so you need to understand that you need to begin to expose yourself early. You need to begin to serve early. It's not one day you want to... First time in politics, you want to go and contest for presidency of your country. You need to begin to first even, have experience. Go and volunteer and intern in your state legislature. Go and volunteer on a campaign. People did that with Obama. Even Obama himself was a community mobilizer. and started gradually, and then went for a state assembly in Chicago, I believe it was, and went for the Senate, and then became president. And so you need to begin to invest. I always say to people, if you want to be great at 30, you've got to begin at 13. So we need to begin to also expose our young people. And that's why I love what Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did. He created a program called the One Day Governor Program. And so when you show academic brilliance, for example, in your school, if you show academic brilliance, in particular through the Spelling Bee program of our incoming First Lady, you get rewarded being a one-day governor or being a one-day commissioner. And I was privileged to be one of those. I was one-day commissioner for information in Lagos State. And it was also true that I got a scholarship from Asiwaju to go study law at London Metropolitan University. And so it's always giving young people an opportunity to, taste leadership and governance. And hope that would inspire them by being one-day governor or one-day commissioner to become something great in life, or to want to become, Bill Clinton said he dreamt of becoming a president when the former president came to his own school and to shake his hands and, greet the student, and he looked at him and said, one day he wants to become a president. So you get a chance to be one-day governor. You never know, maybe Asiwaju will introduce the one-day president program when he gets to Aso Rock by the grace of the Almighty. So young people need to begin to also build their capacity. You need to invest in yourself. You need to begin to, to volunteer. I started my NGO when I was 8, General Action Against the Violation of Human and Children's Rights. I remember in 1998, thereabout, I was involved in the 1 million man march with Olisa Agbakoba, Gani Fawemi. Around 1999, December, I was at Urilos in Creek Road. Gani Fawemi was there for Dr. Femi Falan. I went in my school uniform, started volunteering with UNICEF since 1997. Started getting involved in, that led me in 2001 to represent Nigeria at the United Nations General Assembly Special Session on Children in New York, and, many other things in the World Water Forum in Japan and all of that kind of thing. Get involved early. Volunteer, be part of your NGOs, be part of support groups in your school, clubs and societies. It's important to build your capacity over the years so that when the time is right and the opportunity presents itself, you're ready to be able to take leadership. But, many of us, we need to get our act right. We need to begin to invest in ourselves. And also government needs to begin to create a platform for young people to begin. So join Boy Scout, Girls Guide, join societies. It creates an opportunity for you to build your leadership skills. And then you can begin to, look at how do you, take leadership. But one thing I must also say that is very important is that we also need to begin to be intentional about leadership at the local government level. As a country, we need to begin to expose young people with skills and capacities to begin to even, start off at local government level as councillors, as chairpersons and all of that, so that they can also get the prerequisite experience in public service, right, as special advisors, special assistants, and all of that kind of thing.
All right, because the APC lost some key states like Lagos, Kano, Kaduna, and others, many analysts feel, or rather believe, that the APC candidates and members did not campaign enough, hence the loss in February. How would you react to that? I know you're smiling.
I think nobody did the work that our candidates and our party did in the last election. And I'm telling you for a fact, no candidate traveled as much as the President-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu did in the election that we just wrapped up. He was in 36 states, and in some states, he was there as much as 5 times. In some states, he will go there for town hall.
I'm talking about other APC candidates, not Asiwaju this time around.
Okay, so, yes, the reality is that, everybody campaigns at their own level. Everybody campaigns and invests in their own level. Like I said, more can be done. Yes, I've also heard that in some places, in some communities, people are concerned that, they have not seen their candidates and all of that. But I believe that message has resonated a lot among particular people who are running for House of Assemblies, and people are doing more to go out. Because it's important that you engage the citizens and your audience. You cannot represent the people that you don't engage. And so the lessons and the message have been heard. And I've seen a lot of candidates across the country who are going out there. Even me, that I'm not a candidate. I went to 33 states of Nigeria campaigning for Asiwaju. I remember I flew to Gombe. I drove from Gombe to Taraba. I did about 2 days in Taraba. I drove from Taraba to Benue. I did another 2-3 days in Benue. I drove from Benue to Kogi. I did another 2-3 days in Kogi. I drove from Kogi to Niger. I went around the country, the 33 states. I went to 33 states specifically for Asiwaju. I've gone to the 36 states, but specifically for campaigning for Asiwaju, I went to 33 states.
All right. Now that the governorship and state assembly elections have been postponed, what impacts do you think this will have on the polity and your preparations? And also, is this a postponement a blessing in disguise for
It
your
is.
party?
For me, I believe it's a blessing in disguise because it gives us more time to be able to engage, more time to listen, more time to interact, more time to go around. I'm excited particularly. I've been campaigning for my governor. I believe, it's the best man for the job right now. And I have more time to be able to I know that, it's had to, because of the incident that happened this morning, may God bless the souls of the departed and also strengthen those who are currently in the hospital. I know the governor is doing a lot to be able to provide succor and support to all of them. And I pray that God will heal them speedily and give them grace to be able to survive the accident. And as a result of that, the governor has asked that we take 2 or 3 days to mourn and all of that. But, as soon as that is over, you get a chance to also engage more people and to interact with more people and to, to energize our base and to connect with the people that are going to vote for us. So I think it's a blessing in disguise. It gives us more time to reach more people. That one thing that's also important, in particular for us in Lagos, is that we had 2 big assignments. We had to push and work for a presidency. For the first time, Lagos has produced a president. Ogun State that produced Chief Eneshonekon, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Lagos has never produced a president until now. So a lot of attention from Lagos was focused on ensuring that we do the big win because it's in our benefit. With our man at the center. This man has pushed for a lot of things when he was governor in Lagos State that had not been approved. Now he's the one at the center. He himself that is advocating. So that's ceteris paribus also become equal. So we finished that. We needed a lot of time to canvass for Sellable. As a matter of fact, I said I'm moving that name from Sellable to Capable, Mr. Capable. And so it gives us time now to focus on Mr. Capable and ensure that we can deliver the win for him on Saturday.
All right. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the president-elect. And as one of his mentees, what kind of president or what kind of a president do you think he will be?
I believe that it will be a compassionate president. Ashwaju is a grassroots man. He would also be a president who can make things happen. Don't forget he's a politician. And so he understands how to negotiate, how to get things done, how to, get the win, how to make things happen. Look at it, 2 days ago, he was already with Tony Elumelu, sitting down to have a conversation. I'm sure part of that conversation is how do we create jobs? You've done a lot of work through the Tony Elumelu Foundation in investing in startups. How can we scale this up? How can we ensure that we can get more young people and more startups to be empowered and trained and their capacity built? So Ashwaju is a man who can stoop to conquer, who can go to meet everybody, do positive deals to ensure that the people's interests are protected. So I'm looking forward to a president that is going to be firm because I know Ashwaju is a man of his own mind. He's not pushed around by anybody. He knows what is right and is confident to do that. At the same time, he's also going to be a man that leaves a lasting legacy for Nigeria.
All right. We're gradually running out of time, so let me come to you now. In a few seconds, you're a young man in politics. How would you describe your involvement in politics? And 2, what's your party? I believe you're from Koshofe local
No, I'm from Lagos mainland local
Lagos mainland. Okay, so what's your party
people who said I'm from
What's your party message for your constituency, the youths especially?
Right now, I'm not a mainlander. I'm a Nigerian because I'm the national leader of the party. So I'm the leader in Kotangora. As a matter of fact, I have 8 traditional titles, Wakil in Matasa, Tunga, Tauraro, Gusau. So I'm a full Nigerian, not just Lagos mainland or Koshofe. But my message to the youth of Nigeria, as a national youth leader of the APC, the ruling party of Nigeria, is this is our time. This is our opportunity. But I'm going to ask you to rally around our president-elect, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has promised he's going to work for us and importantly with us. So let's embrace this opportunity. Let's work with him collectively. Let's unite and let's stop all the fights and insults and barrage of abuse on social media and ensure that we unite behind this man and give him a chance and help him to achieve greatness for Nigeria. And I want to encourage you to believe in yourself, to keep dreaming, to never give up, to know that in you lies the seeds of greatness and you can be whatever you want to be. It's not just about the government around you, but by you, you have to make a decision to be great. And there's greatness inside of you. Thank you and God bless you.
All right, I've been speaking with the National Youth Leader of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Dayo Israel, and we critically looked into Nigerian Youths and the 2023 election. I must thank you for coming on the program tonight, and we do hope we look forward to having more conversation with you. Thank you for coming.